friends, good afternoon. I'm Ramesh Goud, Assistant Professor of English, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering College, Hyderabad. Today we are going to discuss about stages of listening. What are the stages? Do you feel for listening also we have stages? Do you think is it first time to hear about that? Right? It is not a first time, dear, because we are avoiding, we are avoiding, we are escaping when you are listening to others. So many people they try to avoid, try to escape whenever the elders, whenever the teachers they try to explain. So we try to escape from that. We don't listen effectively. Because of that, because of that, you may not understand what they taught. Because of that, if you don't understand what they are teaching, definitely you may not remember the things. Suppose if you take the students, how it is connecting with the listening skills. The students, the listening skills, how it is connecting with them. Oh, they can't pay the attention. What is listening? We have a subject in English. So in that listening subject, one part, one topic is the listening. What is the use of it? So you might be wondering that, but it's very, very important, my dear. Without listening, you can't do anything. Take any subject, any subject. If you want to understand any subject, first you listen. We have to make a habituate. We have to habituate with the listening. Make a habit of listening to others. Then we can able to speak. If you don't have any patience, if you don't show any attention towards the people, you may not speak. You may not become a public speaker like any communicator. Yes. So look at what are the stages. We are going to look at one by one. See the here. So just I would like to tell you the definition of listening. Listening is the ability to accurately receive and interpret the message in a communication process. Listening is a skill of critical significance in all aspects of our life, from maintaining our personal relationship to getting our jobs done, to taking notes in a class, to figuring out which bus to take to the airport. Regardless of how we are engaged with listening, it is important to understand that listening involves more than just hearing the words that are directed at us. So that is the importance of the hearing and the listening. So how we are listening from the announcement, how we are listening from the classes, how we are listening from the people, so how we are understanding it, how we are making a friendship, how we are making the relationship, right? How we are balancing in all aspect of our life. Do you think is it possible? The relationship, the circle to maintain, these are all things. Do you think is it possible without listening? We cannot. It is not possible. Okay, just I would like to tell you the listening is not the same as hearing. There are differences, little bit differences there. Hearing refers to the sounds that you hear, whereas listening requires more than that. It requires focus. Listening means paying attention not only to the story, but how it is told, the use of language and voice, and how the other person uses his or her body. In other words, it means being aware of both verbal and non-verbal messages. Your ability to listen effectively depends on the degree to which you perceive and understand these messages. My dear, see, try to understand the difference between listening and hearing. Okay? Listening, it requires focus, paying attention, not only the story, whatever he is explaining, how he is explaining, what is the intention of author behind that. So what is the tone of the author, right? So these are all, what is his body language, his expressions, his emotions, how these are all interlinked with that story, right? So we have to observe these are all things. How with the listening only, just by hearing we cannot, you may show that fake attention with hearing. Okay, if you hear the things, you cannot get it, you cannot understand it. Okay, try to listen. Try to become a good listener. Okay, next stages of listening. The listening process involves five stages: receiving, understanding, remembering, evaluating, and responding. These stages will be discussed in more detail in data section. The first one will be the receiving. This is the first and most basic stage of the listening process. The act of actually observing the information being expressed to you, whether verbally, non-verbally. Not all the communication is done through speech and not all listening is done with ears. Focus all your energy on them by following these three simple tips. Avoid distraction. This is obvious. Don't have your cell phone out or your iPad, the television. Don't try to divide your attention between the speaker and something else. Right? So first stage is the receiving. While you receiving thing, while you receiving the information from the other person, right? We should not connect with anyone. We should not connect with any person. We should not connect with anything like mobile, the TV, the internet, whatever it is. So 100% you should pay the attention and concentration. So on what is going on, what the speaker is explaining, then you can receive it. Then try to avoid these are all distractions which I mentioned there. Understanding. After receiving, then we can understand obviously. This is the point in this listening process where you are able to plan your response. Understanding takes place after you have received the information from the speaker and begin to process your meaning. You can do this by asking questions or replacing parts of the speaker's message. This allows you to demonstrate your active engagement with their words and help you better understand. This is the point listening process where you have to be able to your response. Because once if you understand, once if you receive it, definitely we can able to understand it. Okay, so understanding takes place after you have received the information from the speaker. Then only it takes place. Without receiving from the speaker, we cannot it begin to process its meaning. You can do this by asking questions also, responding to the speaker. Right? If you have a doubt, anything, based on your understanding level only, we can able to ask the questions. So in this way, we can able to understand whatever you receive from the speaker, from the sender. Okay. Next one, remembering. Remembering is about retaining that information, and the most effective way to do so in an important conversation is to move the key elements of message from your short term memory and into your long term memory. Right? So, my dear, see, once if you receive the thing, the information, the data, then you can able to understand it, whatever you say. Once if you understand it, when you get the chance, when you get that, particular time to show your whatever you have information, you have been uh, uploaded, you have been getting into your brain, the information, the data, everything, then we can able to remember it. Receive, remember, and remembering it. Okay. So while you're remembering and everything, whatever you are getting from our mind, then we can show on the paper. Outside, we can give the presentation. We can give the presentation. So this is a way to remember the things because you might have seen the people and when especially students when they are in the classroom. So when they are listening, once if their listening is complete, then they can understand it. After understanding, then they try to remember it when they are writing exams. So that is the process actually. These are the stages, one by one, one by one. We have the stages, right? So now we can look at the make the message familiar. The speaker touches some old memories and past experiences. It becomes easy to retain the attention of the listener. Use those to help you retain incoming information as a listener. Make the message familiar. So while you're getting that, while you're receiving that, okay, after completing your understanding level and remembering, then we can make the message familiar. We can make the message, the information, the data, which is familiar, which is easy for us. In that way, we can make it in a familiar manner. So once if you make it in a familiar manner, so then it will be easy for us to remember whenever it requires. Then you can able to write it. You can able to present it. If you are not familiar with that particular message, the words, the vocabulary, whatever we're using, right? So we have to make ourselves to familiar with the message that we receiving from the receiver, the sender. Sorry. Okay. Then we can able to remember and we can able to write it. We can able to present it whenever you get the chance. Okay. This is a way to get the message to familiarize. Okay. Next, evaluating. It is at this stage where you can begin to prepare your response, but remember, you are still listener, not a speaker. After the message has been observed, processed, and remember, you can begin to sort the information into pieces. So the evaluating part is coming. So after receiving, understanding, remembering, then evaluating. Okay, we can evaluate ourselves. Because suppose if we take the examination, so we can evaluate the things, the papers, how we have written, so what we have written, what is the content. Right? In the same way, so we have to evaluate what we are receiving from the people. So we have to evaluate it. So what are the good things? What are the bad things? So which is useful for us, which is not useful for us. So we have to evaluate it. By evaluating, so we can able to notice, we can able to identify the things which is mostly useful for our life. Okay. So responding. If you completed the receiving, understanding, remembering, and evaluating, and portion of the listening process, responding should be easier than ever. It's important to understand the transition between listening and speaking, though, and be aware of the ways responding is still part of the active listening process. Don't complete the speaker sentences. This is a pre-symptoms and route you to switch into your own response. It impedes on the receiving process and will make the original speaker want to listen to you less. Because some people don't complete the speaker sentence. Some people immediately can respond. Once if they receive it, okay, so because they have their ability to receive it in immediately, they can have such kind of ability. So in the same manner, immediately they want put it outside. So so if you respond like that, so it may disturb to the speaker. First, you let him speak. Okay, so that what he's saying actually. Don't complete the speaker sentence. Let him complete it. Don't interrupt in the middle. Okay, so address the speaker's points. When you get the chance to respond, it will make it easier for the speaker to transition into a listener when they know exactly what part of their message you are addressing. Right? So when you get a chance to respond to the speaker words points, address the speaker points, whatever he has given, whatever he has presented, which is relevant to the subject. Okay, when you get the chance to respond to that, so try to what try to listen when they know exactly what part of their message you are addressing. So try to make and you try to add the points which are the speaker addressing. Okay, so that is a very very important. So this is about the stages of the listening, and I hope you understood. So what are the stages? And so in the first stage is receiving, because these are the information. It will be going on in between the people, receiver, and the uh, sender and the receiver. Okay, so that's why we have to understand the stages. First, receiving and understanding, right, and remembering and evaluating. So like that in the stage wise, if you keep in our mind, so whatever we're getting from the sender, definitely we can receive it in a well manner. Then we can able to present it wherever it needs. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.